chaos. That was the first word that popped into my head when I saw what driving was like within some areas of Asia. Just pure, unadulterated chaos. But the most astounding element isn't how erratic, hazardous, or chaotic the traffic is, but the fact that it actually works. This is the tale of how, despite being scared shitless, I zoomed around Bali on a scooter with my girlfriend on the back. Stupid idea? Probably. Do I regret it? Not one bit. I've been riding for almost 2 years now. Last year, I rode the Ha Giang Loop in Vietnam. I've ridden a scooter once before. I've ridden 2-up a couple of times. So as you can see, I'm not super experienced, but I'm far better equipped than a good majority of tourists who head over to Bali unlicensed, never having touched a motorbike before. With that out the way, let's get to it. Long story short, riding on 2 wheels is a universal language. There are just different dialects, flavors, varieties, if you will. What exactly are these differences? Well, first and foremost are the traffic rules. These are just suggestions. No one actually seems to follow them. Can you imagine if people ignored traffic lights and lane dividers in countries such as Australia? Typically, it would lead to utter chaos. But the reason it doesn't is because the locals adhere strictly to an unwritten code. Yield. That's it. Quell your ego and just give way. Always expect to have someone cut you off, pull out in front of you, drive as if you just didn't exist. The flip side is, the people behind you will be doing the same thing for you. And that's it. You take care of what's happening in front of you, and everyone behind you will take care of whatever you do. Unfortunately, I don't believe this is a great system. I find it mind-blowing that it actually works, and witnessing it in action is awe-inspiring. But it's just not as efficient as it is over here. This chaotic style of traffic flow means that there is always heavy congestion, and the average speed is extremely low, as traveling with pace is almost a guaranteed collision. Before I move on, I just want to comment on something I found really fascinating, and that's Asia's love for the rear brake. Because of the staggering amount of low-speed maneuvering you do, the rear brake is your lifeline. I saw a few tourists who clearly weren't dragging rear brake, and they looked like they were about to topple at any second while filtering. What fascinates me is they just don't seem to care much for the front brake over there, even once you're no longer at low speed. Can someone explain why that is to me? Why they're so rear brake biased even once they're at pace? Another big difference is the way in which the horn is utilised. Over here, it's used sparingly, often when someone pulls a stupid manoeuvre in traffic. In Asia, however, it's an essential part of the commuting toolkit. It lets other motorists know you're there and to look out for you. Let's talk about my own experience. First order of business was to obtain an international driving permit well before landing in Bali. Most tourists just go over and ride with no license and bribe police when pulled over. The biggest flaw in this plan is travel insurance will not cover you even if you've added motorcycle cover to your policy, as you are technically riding unlicensed. If something goes terribly wrong, you want to be on the right side of the law, especially when abroad. For those of you who've been watching me for a while, you'll know that I am a staunch all the gear, all the time kind of guy. The moment I landed in Bali, I was zooming around in shorts and a party shirt, as it just isn't feasible to ride full gear over there. That being said, I realized that the protection you get given from rental places are just for show and would probably do nothing during a slide or an impact. So my partner and I brought our own helmets and gloves along. It was a bit of a hassle, especially when watching the locals putt around with no gear at all, but so worth it for the safety and the security. The scooter we hired was a 2022 Honda Vario 160. I wanted something newer for reliability, and I wanted ABS after my braking experience in Vietnam. As I mentioned earlier though, the front brakes still sucked. Okay, it's got ABS, it's crap. The front brakes are just trash. It seems to be a thing here to not use the front brakes. Anyway, let's get the babe and babe on the back. We look like such full kit wankers in full-face helmets with gloves. The locals don't even care for helmets, half of them, and the ones that do, they're most certainly not inconveniencing themselves with full-face helmets. This was also a nice comfy ride for Sarah, as it was her first time ever hopping on two wheels. We decided to go through by cargo, which meant we paid a premium when compared to just hiring off the side of the street, but it came with insurance, free delivery and pickup, was hassle-free, and we got to choose from a solid selection of rides. Oh, and all of their bikes come with a phone holder, which I did not think that I'd need at the start, but became entirely dependent on for navigation throughout the rest of the trip. We started off in the hotel car park, moved to the alleyway next to the hotel, rode to some local shops, went to dinner in Seminyak one night, and then finally we did some bigger day trips to Ubud and Uluwatu. Apologies if I butchered that pronunciation. Let's talk about how riding on two wheels in Bali felt and what it did to me. I was so excited to give this a crack, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous, anxious, and slightly scared. My fears were exacerbated by the fact that I had Sarah on the back and was not familiar with riding a scooter. Motorcycles feel so much more stable and sturdy because of the bigger wheels and the tank to brace against. But every minute I spent riding, I could feel my confidence growing. By the end of it, I was doing what the locals do, riding on footpaths, filtering against oncoming traffic, navigating those hectic intersections, and enjoying the challenge instead of being nervous about it. It wasn't enough time for me to master the art, but I feel like I got a solid taste. This was so much fun, but by no means easy. It was a challenge, but this added a heap of value to my experience. I upskilled as a rider and felt very accomplished by the end of my journey. The most incredible thing about riding a scooter amongst the local traffic without strictly adhering to traffic law was the sheer sensation of liberation and freedom you get. Zipping around on a tiny moped in shorts and a party shirt with the woman you love on the back is this sensation of euphoria that's hard to replicate elsewhere. It's safe to say that riding on two wheels in a completely different country is one of the most incredible experiences I have ever had, and I cannot wait to do it again. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I will catch you on the next one. We did it! Oh my god! Oh, you're so cute.